Alright, we're live. We're doing it.
Okay.
Go to thingy. Alright, here's the link, Elijah. Watch this and make sure everything stays on the level. It doesn't fool people.
Alright.
And spread it around everywhere. Hello and welcome. We're finally here. We're finally doing it. We're finally doing the Steven Universe cast that I've been teasing for like 2 weeks now, without anyone else knowing that I intended to be here. How are you guys feeling?
I'm
here with Elijah, who delayed us the last time, so you can blame him.
Well, we could delay it more if you want.
No, let's not. We're already here.
Okay, alright.
And I'm also here with Hoven, and Mo was supposed to be here, but he'll probably show up later. Let me send him a thing.
Hey everybody.
Nobody's watching yet, but they will. They will be watching eventually.
Are you gonna post this as like a podcast afterwards, or just leave it up?
No, just leave it up.
On the channel.
I'm gonna play some games too. So you guys make sure the stream actually functions and isn't broken. Now let's.
It seems to be working fine from what I can tell.
Alright, I just started up my emulator. We're gonna talk Steven Universe and play SEGA and have a great Monday afternoon, or whatever time it is where you are. Now, please start, Elijah, because I haven't even spoken to you since the Rose Quartz reveal.
Oh yeah.
How are you feeling about that?
I feel I have a lot of different feelings about this arc. Most of them are. I want to say I'm leaning towards the negative side because.
What are you talking about? You didn't like it?
I would say it progressively got more disappointing as it went on.
All right, let's go
really, because I thought it kind of sagged in the middle and then ended on a really high note.
Hold up, let's just go back a bit to Can't Go Back in a Single Pale Rose. Because what do you think of those?
Single Pale Rose is pretty good. I liked it a lot. It was a wild ride for like 2 minutes at the end. I was like, it's like, are we right? Are we wrong? What is it?
Wait, what did you believe this whole time?
Well, the whole they tried to debunk that, it was like combination of a bunch of different theories. Rose is Pink Diamond, but at the same time they drip feed you. Oh, Pearl did it, but at the same time, Pearl killed Pink Diamond. So then okay, so Rose is a Pink Diamond then, and so. But it's a combination of all those things. And you're like, aha, you didn't expect that, did you? And I was just like, my head was spinning.
They made it like a real wild ride, and I love it. Let me just say, I'm really positive towards everything. All of the episodes since Can't Go Back I've thought have been fantastic. And to me, it's been like a testament to how good Steven Universe can be when it comes to like tight, focused storytelling, which it doesn't do very often. Like since Can't Go Back, it's been a consistent... It's become like a character-driven show, which it isn't usually. It's been like a consistent, serialized narrative, and I've loved it. I thought it was great.
I think. Can I just say, the Pearl, like the reveal that Pearl was Big Diamond. I never understood why everyone was so. Rose of Pink Diamond, yeah. Pearl with Pink Diamond. That's a bit more of a. But no,
I think that ended up being the case.
No, the Pink Diamond reveal didn't surprise me that much, just because. So many of the circumstances surrounding her have been so sort of vague.
Yeah.
So when it happened, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense.
I will say, though, I did really like the idea of Pink Diamond being just this complete, like, snotty brat, like this teenage girl. I was hoping that was kind of the case, but it seems that's out the window, sadly.
She's just the
I really loved both those episodes. I loved the Lapis one. I thought they were like two of the most well-produced.
Oh yeah, the Lapis episode looked really good, and the thing that was weird about it, totally overshadowed by a Single Pale Rose.
Yeah,
nobody remembers the Lapis. Nobody remembers the Lapis episode, and the Lapis episode is even more disappointing because Lapis continued her same character trait of being a coward, a giant.
Alright, I'll say this, Elijah. You've always hated Lapis, and it makes me curious as to how much patience you'd have with a person like this in the real world. Because like there are
absolutely none.
Exactly. That's why I've always kind of liked and empathized with Lapis. But there are people just like her that are like traumatized and broken and can't have normal relationships because they've been through so much, you know. And they intentionally, in season 5 especially, they've really been portraying Lapis as a bit negatively.
I'm sorry, I don't know any inmates. I don't know any prison. I don't know anybody who served long prison sentences. And
yeah, that's true. But just replace that trauma with something a bit more human, like, you know,
being in prison,
being domestically abused or whatever, you know.
Oh, and then coming out of prison and abusing.
Yeah.
The very next person you're in a relationship.
That happens, you know. That happens.
Lapis is awful. There's no justifying it.
I completely disagree.
Yeah, that's why I really dislike the ending.
Oh, okay, we'll get to that. We're doing this in order. We're gonna do this very professionally.
Oh, okay, I'm down.
Yeah, so I really love the Lapis episode. Can't go back because it has like a sweet undertone to it, but you know it isn't going anywhere good. Like when they're sitting together and talking, and it seems like Lapis is coming around, and she goes, "Oh yeah, when I come back." But I was like, nah. Just because she said that, I'm certain she isn't coming back. Because it's never that easy with Steven Universe. Like you can't.
It's never that easy with Lapis.
Yeah, right.
Every time you ask her to do something, she's just like, no.
Yeah.
She's like a cat.
Yeah, it's a shame. But I love that episode. I love how it didn't really have a happy ending. A lot of episodes in season 5.
But nobody remembers it. She sung the song and everything, and no one remembers because Single Pale Rose is right after it.
And Single Pale Rose, which is just like one of the most inventive and cool episodes of the show ever.
Yeah, you get to see how many people were into Pearl. Yeah. All the little phone numbers and stuff. That was cute.
Yeah, that was great. There were a lot of little cool gags written. This episode really showed me what this whole arc recently has shown me what Steven Universe can be when it's well produced and like when it's
more of a tangible sense of story structure as well.
Yeah,
I think what my thing is that the episodes do look a lot better than they usually do.
Rebecca Sugar even said they've been working on these episodes for years. Like it's obvious that this is a case where these episodes had a lot more love than the rest of the show. Almost the rest of the show.
I mean, not to the rest of the show, but there's special attention paid to these episodes. I would say for sure. This chunk.
It's a case where if you messed them up, you'd be breaking a lot of a lot of the setting up to this point.
Yeah, but I think you want to get into the first episode of the...
Yeah. What was it called? Now We're Only Falling Apart.
Yeah, Now We're Only Falling Apart. I actually really like this episode a lot.
Yeah, this episode was fantastic.
This episode really, my favorite part of this episode, and I'll get right to it, is how they kind of... They're admitting all the... They're sort of admitting the wrongs of Pink Diamond, but at the same time... They're showing how she could have been swayed that way. She was swayed completely by, Garnet, and I thought that was such a cool element. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This makes a lot of sense.
After a Single Pale Rose, all of the umbrage falls on Pink Diamond being a bad person. Like, you immediately start thinking, oh, she took advantage of Pearl. She's just being a brat. She's just being, like, impulsive. But then you see a bit more from her perspective, where, like, she didn't plan any of that. It all just sort of... Pearl started it, first of all. And then it all just sort of happened. It all just fell into place. And she was originally doing everything for the Earth. It wasn't really about liberating gems. It was just about getting the gems off the Earth.
It was a perfect storm of, like, a rebellion. Because then she met Garnet, and that kind of happened. The whole, the Ruby and Sapphire thing happened by chance, and that's kind of what inspired her more to even go further with the rebellion and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was cool as hell. A lot of it is stuff that you could just, like, theorize yourself. But it's great to have actual words put to it.
No, I couldn't even theorize because I was just thinking, man, how are they gonna, possibly, but then, even Sapphire right away. That's what I do appreciate about this arc. The characters are reasonable.
Yeah, because every episode of the arc is about a different character. Like we start with. It really... Steven Universe has always been like this, but it's never been this interesting about it, where it explores how every character is feeling. Like, it's not just about what's happening, it's about how everyone's responding to it, which is cool.
Sure. Well, it's difficult to do that because Steven has to be around.
Yeah, so. He has to be around. He has to be the center of everything, but that's okay this time, because, it's such a personal thing for Steven.
He went with Pearl and they kind of handled it that way.
Yeah.
Which was cool, and I really liked the episode, and then they they explain it from they do the answer again from Pearl's perspective.
Hold it. Oh, right, yeah, that scene, yeah.
Yeah, that was, basically all that stuff. I mean, that was my favorite part, and that was my favorite episode of this bomb, and so that was the peak for me. That was like, okay, from then on, it just. I mean, I'm not saying it got bad, but I was just very.
Another thing I want to say about the episode is that I love that Sapphire was the one that was being impulsive and emotional, just because it's so different.
Oh yeah. I mean, Ruby was upset initially. If you remember the Sardonyx arc, she was upset about
exactly. It was Ruby that was freaking out.
She doesn't care about anything else but Sapphire and their union. Like that's what she's all about. Like she doesn't care about the war, all that stuff. None of that. Even when you first meet Ruby, she's like, I don't care. Are you okay? I don't care. Are you okay? Like that's kind of like her.
Yeah, and that's
whole
sort of
character.
Unhealthy in a way, and that leads nicely.
A little unhealthy, yeah. It leads healthily into the next episode.
Yeah, it leads nicely into the question. But before that, we had "What's Your Problem," which was the episode that for me like really got this arc started, because it was a very different kind of Amethyst episode.
Oh yeah, the Amethyst episode.
Like,
that
was another episode that frigging floored me with just how I didn't predict any. Like you think you watch it and you think in your head that you have like an idea of where it's going, what it's about, and it just completely blindsides you.
But tell me about your feelings though. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, and you think
I did like that there was just a screenshot of him saying that, and it's just like that's it. That's the show.
Yeah, exactly. All this crazy stuff's going, but how do you personally feel about it right now? That is what Steven Universe is. Incidentally, what are you watching right now, Elijah? What are you looking at?
What do you mean?
Like right now on your screen, are you looking at the stream?
I am looking at the stream, and I'm also kind of looking around at comments and stuff like that.
There are comments? What are people saying?
I've been called a nerd.
Oh, well, you are a nerd. What are they saying?
Someone said I sound like a nerd.
In fact, let me open comments on my phone right quick. Are you enjoying my gameplay of Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse?
No.
Aren't you amazed by how I can play and have these brilliant insights about Steven Universe at the same time?
I mean, I feel like you've played this game a lot already,
yes,
so you probably have it memorized.
Right, what are they saying? 13 whole people are watching, gee.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And it's the same people commenting.
More than
wow, fantastic. Post this around, Elijah. You said you would.
I did. I'm not going to be rude and obtrusive about it, though.
Oh, okay. I wish you would.
Yeah, no, I won't.
Alright, on to the Amethyst episest. Like
I like the Amethyst. Oh man, thanks for reminding me, because I totally forgot about this episode, because I was so like, how do I say it? I was kind of wallowing in like self-loathing because of the last couple episodes of this bomb, and I was just like, oh, but I totally forgot how good the Amethyst episode was.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Like, and they drew Amethyst really cute in that episode too.
These episodes were just better made. It's wild, like to see.
I mean, it's probably like it has to do with the studios, because I know they use two different Korean studios, but I don't know which one's the more, I guess, better of the two. But so they probably had like a better studio work on these, but.
I think
these episodes. And I think the artist got better too, because, like, a lot of these episodes, I know a couple of these episodes were done by Lamar, and Lamar's episodes have been
Abrams.
Lamar Abrams, and he hasn't really done you probably follow him on Twitter or something like that. His episodes have kind of been like, they haven't really given him any story, like hardcore story episodes. He usually gets like the townie episodes or like townie interaction episodes. So giving him like actual story episodes, they actually stepped up to the plate, which is really cool.
These episodes had like a real, like, they felt like well directed, which is unusual for Steven Universe. Like, there's a moment like in the last one where like Garnet's walking towards Blue Diamond, and the shots.
No, what are you doing? I thought we were being professional.
What do you?
No,
I'm just saying in general about this arc. It seems very.
They have some nice. There's some nice shots. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
which is not.
Well, they had the Joe Johnston. So what had happened is, like, early on, Steven Universe, a lot of people who did well in the first season and season 2 got promoted, and they weren't animating as much anymore. And for this particular arc, a lot of those people went back, not not that they were demoted, but they looked at these episodes with more care. Put it like, for example, like Joe Johnston, he's like an episode director and stuff like that, or like on production, and he wasn't. And how do you say it? He got promoted, and so he wasn't doing storyboards and all this stuff anymore. Even though his episodes look really great, and that's why he got promoted. But he couldn't be as hands on. These episodes, you could definitely see that these they were more hands on for these episodes. So that's why you get the talented people you get the more talented people touching the episodes that are important. Anyway, point is, I love
what a friggin' nerd this guy is.
I love the Amethyst episode. That was really good. So I was riding high on this season until like the.
Hold it. We're not done yet. Hoven, how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I did like that as a direction to go, as an episode that's actually about a character going, no, I'm not just going to let you be my emotional sponge.
Yeah, there were some lines there that really opened my eyes as to what this show's been this whole time. Like, she says, like, I'm not gonna dump another 1,000-year-old complex on you. And it's like, yeah, that has been the entire show. Just all these...
Yeah, compare that to, like, the episode where she just transformed into Pearl in front of Greg.
Yeah.
She's come a long way.
Yeah, it was it's transformed into Rose. That was... Yeah.
I keep saying Pearl instead of Rose.
Who knows?
She's matured a lot. She's matured, she's had a lot of... Everything has a lot of character growth, as opposed to... And it's funny because they actually mentioned it in this episode. She's the most mature because she's had the most character...
At the time, Paul and Sapphire were crying.
And it's not even fair because... It's just because Amethyst has the most time with Steven. You know what I mean? Like, the most, like, personal... And, like, since Steven's viewpoint, we're only seeing the show from Steven's viewpoint. We don't know. We don't get as much development with those other characters.
Don't grow unless Steven's around. We know that.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless they're lost.
I mean, that's kind of. I would say that's a flaw because we only got that one episode with Garnet like a while ago. The freaking pool hopping.
I didn't care for that episode at the time, but looking back, it was blatant foreshadowing for all of this.
Blatant foreshadowing, but it should have came way sooner. That could have been like a season 2, season 3 episode.
No, I think it was important to happen because Steven just got abducted, and Garnet, of course, in the older episodes, that couldn't have happened because we sort of feel intuitively that the gems were in control back then. Something like that never would have happened in the earlier episodes.
Right. I just think I'm just explaining why it's flawed because we don't get to see a lot of Steven with Garnet or Steven with Pearl per se, but all this times with Amethyst, so you get to see Amethyst develop more because she's around Steven. Steven is kind of like, because that's how we view the show, and that's how things progress.
Tamara, I'm curious. At what point would you say you've been the most down on this show, or at least the stretch that was the weakest for you?
Oh, jeez. What a difficult question. I guess the fourth
I think right about now is kind of where I'm.
Hey now. I think this is the most interested in Steven Universe people have been in probably years. Like, I don't know if you've been paying attention to the fans and the views and the engagement.
Yes.
Crazy right now.
The engagement is crazy because people are getting their very how do I say it? They got their Infinity War. You know what I mean? They got their anyway.
All the Pink Diamond stuff. That was when it kind of started for me.
That was nice. That was cool. But it comes so fast. It's so weird. It's like that's another thing I wanted to say about the Amethyst episode. They kind of, how do I put it? They rev up the speed. You get a lot of information in that very first episode of that bomb, and then the Amethyst episode comes and it's like, they slam on the brakes and you're like, and they turn around and be like, but how are you feeling though? Are you okay? We're going a little fast.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hit the gas again.
None of the other gems do that really because they're too broken to do it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if they're broken. I just think they have other concerns. Like, for example, like Amethyst also has the advantage of not experiencing war. You know what I mean? Like, she's never.
Yeah, the idea that when she says that I'm not responsible for what Rose did, that was... Yeah, no one is. Like, I don't know why you all care so much. Like, you want her. She did it.
Yeah.
You know? So...
Exactly, but it's at the same time, Steven, they had that whole reveal, and it's just like... Yeah. But
it was a reflection.
Let's move on.
It was a reflection change of pace.
Because I, you know, and then we get it, and again, this is like it feels like, because I feel like you know, it was fine, but the transition right at the end of the episode, I was like, oh man, they don't even get to see Ruby yet. They're just on, you know, it kind of just resolves themselves, and it's just kind of like you get this little tiny picture of, you know, of what's going on with Amethyst, but it took
just because I watched this whole bomb in one go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I watched it, you know, day by day as it aired. So, like, you know, I've had discussions about this already. You know, I knew it. I was just like, oh man, I'm totally. You know.
Wait, so did you see that proposal coming then?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the main, well, I guess because I was spoiled because Cartoon Network had goofed.
Oh, well then that's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that was coming just because, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I was just no, like I'm subscribed to the I'm subscribed to the Cartoon Network YouTube, and so they uploaded this podcast thing where Eureka Sugar's talking about her love of animation, and they're dropping all these spoilers in there.
Wait, you didn't
like
see
visually?
You didn't see the press bomb about how they spoiled the show before that? Like that was huge. I saw.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I saw all the press about how someone just spoiled Steven Universe, and then I just avoided that video.
Yeah, no, I didn't avoid. Like, I was like one of the first people to see it. That's why. Like,
in the first few hours. That's a shame.
Yeah, I did. I did watch in the first few hours. It like updated. You know how the little YouTube notifications come up? I was like, oh, Steven Universe video, Rebecca Sugar, click. Yeah, immediately, and then I'm just like, "What is this? What is that?"
Let's not even talk about the contents of that spoiler. I want to say some things about this episode. The question. So Ruby makes some great points about how she's basically never been by herself.
Yeah.
Which is true. You know, as we've seen in the show, she went from being with her platoon to being with Sapphire, and not really having an identity outside of that. So she becomes a cowboy, which is cool. You know, the cowboy is like the ultimate Western.
This episode, I get what it was doing. I was just kind of bored throughout it.
Oh. Well, you know like seeing Ruby being a cowboy and Amethyst as a horse? That was the best thing.
Here's my thing.
Didn't really care for it.
It definitely depends on if you appreciate the Westerns and stuff like that. That whole like.
Not just Westerns, it's just like an international symbol of like a romantic symbol of independence.
I did like the moment where she just held up the comic and it was just the cowboy going, "I'll miss you, Mary Beth," or something.
Yeah.
I like the reference to comics and stuff like that, but at the same time, as you know, Steven Universe is a science fiction fantasy, and I don't watch Westerns to begin with, so that whole thing just didn't gel with me. Like, I'm saying the episode is cute. I think Ruby's super cute in this episode, especially when she's just like, I was lying the whole time. I'm super gay.
Oh yeah,
I'm gay as. Can we curse on this?
There's never been a gay cowboy in history, so that's when you knew something.
Exactly. No, it's just like, can I curse on this stream or no?
Of course you can. What are you talking about?
No, she turns around to Steve's like, I'm gay as fuck.
Yeah,
she's like, okay.
Yeah, I have one major issue with this episode, though.
I can't stop thinking about Sapphire and her sexy, mature lady voice.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah, my only problem with this episode was that I wish Ruby did do it alone. Like, it felt really weird that she was being followed around by Greg and Evan.
But she has to. Again, that's a disadvantage of the show.
How could she really feel that she did everything by herself when she's being tailed around? It's like a kid's field trip.
Yeah, definitely, because Ruby is a little kid.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's that disadvantage again. Steven has to be there in order for the characters to develop. You know, even if they've already kind of like figured themselves out because Greg, Greg came in being the best dad that he was. He's like, I didn't tell her I was the Mayo. I think it's fair, eye for an eye.
How could Greg possibly tell? He doesn't even know what is a blue diamond, a pink.
Yeah,
diamond.
He doesn't know what a diamond. He knows a blue diamond looks like.
Obviously, he's been told the story, but none of that means anything.
Actually, I don't. Yeah, exactly. That's true.
The implications mean nothing to him. He's a human.
He's like, whatever. I still hit that.
Yeah,
that's all. That's all he cared about. Yeah.
And the next episode after that, we didn't talk about the proposal. How'd you feel about that?
The proposal was.
That was a very sweet scene.
Yeah, that was freaking.
That scene was dope. That scene actually made the episode for me.
Yeah, because I didn't really know it's another episode where I had no idea where it was going. I thought they were kind of serious about the whole Ruby kind of spending some time apart from Sapphire.
Because you weren't spoiled and you didn't have like the inclination of what was gonna happen. So I knew exactly that it was gonna be like, oh man, this is so this is gonna be really cute when she's proposes to her and stuff like that. And I love the animation too. The animation when Ruby jumps off the horse.
Another episode where like the directing was outstanding.
The camera movement and stuff, jumping off of Amethyst. Oh man, the Amethyst transformation.
The Amethyst animations themselves were like surprisingly detailed.
She powers up to transform now.
Yeah,
like, who added that? That was pretty neat. I think she just did it herself though because she's been watching too much anime or something.
I didn't even really believe it when she said it. Like, "Will you marry me?" Like, I never even considered that a thing that Gems would ever want to do.
Yeah, but I think it's just because she's been reading comics and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's a concept that humans do."
And also, like she says, Sapphire was kind of right. Their union has a lot to do with Rose Quartz, and everybody wants to kind of disassociate with Rose Quartz.
Rose.
Right?
Like each other. They like doing the fusion stuff anyways. They like being a fusion. They like being incarnate.
Rose has a lot to do with, like, what happened. Like, she caused it in a lot of ways. And
yeah, that's true. Absolutely.
Yeah, Rose is getting sort of disavowed by everyone.
Yeah, basically. And I guess that is weird.
To me, it kind of reminded me of like a man getting Me Too'd by Hollywood and getting disowned by everybody. That's kind of what happened to Rose during this whole arc.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Rose wasn't bad.
Like, obviously they don't hate her, but they can't co-sign her like the way that they would.
Actually, come to think of it, I really like that because throughout the whole show, they just kind of deify her as this amazing thing, and like I always found that really, like, I don't know, I'd never found that interesting. So yeah, come to think of it, I really like this development.
That's because the more complex the show got, and the more like moral questions it asked, a character like that really isn't very helpful. A
character like that is just unrealistic.
Yeah, and
she
did do a bunch of bad things, and she did tell a whole bunch of lies. So
all right, let's talk about Maid of Honor, which I technically watched last because my internet was out. Yeah.
Oh, that's awful. That's just awful.
Yeah.
How can you do that?
I watched that out of order because my internet was out and I forgot to watch it on TV. And I missed it. So my internet was out, that means my DVR was out. So my DVR wasn't working by the time I got home from work. So I was just like, I was super pissed.
That's a shame.
And so Maid of Honor was the episode where they brought back Bismuth to be the Maid of Honor. And it was really, this is kind of where I'm just like, I'm getting let down a lot here.
Oh man, I love this episode. Like
I'm not saying the episode
wrote Bismuth, I friggin' lost it. Cause I had like an inkling that he was going into.
I think it was just a case of like, I was really glad to see Bismuth again.
I was like, let's go.
Oh my god. See, I was, again, spoil on that because Bismuth shows up like in that podcast thing and you're just like, oh my god, you have no idea. The shots they put in that podcast video on Cartoon Network are from episodes that still haven't aired yet. It's really bad. It's like stuff I saw. I need to erase.
No, I remember like they leaked way back when it was like on season 3. They just leaked some stuff onto the UK version of the website.
Yeah, they leaked Lapis.
And my friends were like, are you gonna look at it? And I'm like, no, I'll just wait for the episodes. Like, oh no, I've already read it.
They leaked Lapis, not Lapis coming coming back. Yeah. Actually, Lapis was a big surprise for me because Lapis wasn't in the podcast stuff. Like the shot you see in the podcast.
We'll get to that later.
Okay,
let's not talk too much about the podcast. I don't want to know anything. I have a feeling the podcast goes even further than where we are now. So
they've shown everything so far, but it's still from episodes that haven't aired yet. Like,
okay. Anyway, yeah. So this episode, people were understandably a little miffed that the Gems accepted Bismuth back so easily.
Really?
Yeah. And
no way. I mean, I think Bismuth
like that.
I think Bismuth, their talk was, but I think Bismuth is smart, right? She was looking for a direct solution to end the war, and she came up with a breaking point. And as soon as Steven was like, "Hey, I'm actually Pink Diamond," oh my God, all of Rose's decisions make sense.
Suddenly, like,
I like that.
I like that. I like that. Being lied to constantly. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, but to me, more so than the logic, if it works emotionally, then it worked. Like, when you see Sapphire and Ruby and Pearl grabbing and hugging Bismuth, if you believe it, then it worked. And I completely believe that they'd be happy to see her.
Of course they'd be happy to see her.
Yeah, because really, they have no negative memories of Bismuth. They love Bismuth,
Yeah, exactly. It's only, Steven had the, Steven had to...
But then he clearly made up with her and did it as like a surprise for the wedding. So it was very sweet. That was.
I don't know. I feel like, man, that episode is it just me, or that didn't feel like that didn't feel like it needed to be a whole episode? If you ask me,
most people are saying it needed to be longer.
Maybe. I don't know. This is where my problem comes. Like, there should have. I feel like that last bit with the diamonds should have at least been an hour long. Half an hour was not enough.
I don't know, but this episode, even I do agree that it could have stood to be longer. It was well paced as it was, and they snuck a lot of great gems in there, like comedy wise, and just great character moments between Steven and Bismuth. It feels very earnest and sincere. Like, it doesn't feel like
I mean, I'm not saying that I have a problem with it. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like they wanted to do more, and they just tried to do as much as they could with what they had, and I personally wasn't enough, like for something like that, for what they were trying to pull off.
How'd you feel about Bismuth, Hogan?
Bismuth.
I thought it was great. I was excited to see Bismuth.
Yeah. I really liked that they included her
reaction, but her reaction was very human-like though, which was weird to me. Like, she went into the lava and screamed her head off and stuff like that.
just because I think it's because she just understood the gravity of what she did. That's pretty wild to oh, I've got this breaking point, I'm gonna kill you with it. Isn't it great? And we still don't. Yeah. What's interesting is we still don't know the circumstances under which Bismuth was bubbled. Like, was Bismuth attacking Rose, or
probably not? I think
Rose
it was more
just
like
put her in the bubble. And
I think the whole thing is that
did Rose intend to ever get her back, or what?
I think Rose just kind of like bit her lip and like poofed Bismuth, like not wanting to destroy her, but just like kind of put her away, like maybe later.
And I just kind of forgot about it for a few minutes.
And totally forgot about her, and that's what made Bismuth actually mad.
Yeah,
like
that's what upset Steven wasn't Bismuth. No, when Steven wasn't Rose, she was a lot less hostile. Because Rose didn't.
I won't lie though. For the first few minutes of this episode, whenever I saw Bismuth, I just thought of Ennui.
On me?
Because the other Abby of her for ages.
Incidentally, if he wants to come in here and talk about Steven Universe, send him a link. If he's around.
I haven't followed him in ages.
Well, if someone could try.
Anyway, it was I would say a good episode. I thought it was
really friggin' good. The one thing they glossed over was Peridot. Like, Peridot just kind of was there. We didn't get to see her react to any of the pink diamond stuff.
she had her own thing. She had a previous arc where she's dealing with the garden and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Also, would she really be as emotionally invested in all of it?
Yeah, there has to be some
it wouldn't matter to her because
they also didn't do it with Connie either.
Because Peridot is like one of the better crystal gems because she actually wants to protect the Earth. She doesn't need any weird propaganda or giant women to convince her. to do so. You know, she appreciated the Earth immediately, or not immediately, but she came to appreciate it immediately. Jesus. A little bit with Steven's help, but at the same time, you know. Anyway, point is, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this arc, which is
the wedding, the lovely wedding. It begins with
the wedding reunited.
The song begins with this amazing, like, wannabe Broadway song. It sounds like the kind of Disney song that begins the movie and recaps who the characters are. And I love
the thing I love about this song is that it just put the thought in my head of, wait, yeah, shouldn't they be worrying about the oncoming diamond threat? And then later on in the episode, the diamonds just come in.
Yeah, Steven Universe, from the very beginning, has been masterful at manipulating tension. Like, it begins with the most saccharine song just to tell you what's gonna happen, you know? It's always been good at it, and it's
so much stuff, man, happened in this episode.
Yeah.
It was too much, I would say. Well,
I mean, the wedding let's perfectly, you know.
I think the wedding, it was super fast. I was super happy about that, but I knew deep down, like, I had a sinking feeling in my stomach, you know, 20 minutes or whatever they're given for this, you know, fight scene and everything is not enough. You know, it's just not enough. And not to mention all the different elements they bring into this brawl, this Infinity War, this War for Beach City, battle for Beach City.
Let's not skim over the important details. Okay, we got our Peridot as a flower girl.
Peridot deploying the flowers, which is adorable. Ruby. Super excited.
Greg playing stronger than you on the guitar.
He's stronger than you, and they'd have to speed it up because.
I also love the way that when they actually use the dress and the tux for one outfit.
Yeah, the tuxedo, or I don't know what you're gonna call it.
Yeah, whatever. She didn't keep it.
Tuxedo.
She won't be wearing it for long.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was a little worried that she'd keep it on forever, but she didn't.
No, this is a wedding dress. But man, God, how do I put this into words? Cute wedding, all that stuff was nice, but then the diamonds show up, and then it just turns into.
Okay, before we get to that, can I just minor detail? I love the fact that Bismuth was talking to, like, Ronaldo, and Ronaldo clearly had like some nice shitty plastic armor. I just like to imagine he was just like, oh yeah, I know a bit about blacksmithing.
Like she was so thoroughly.
Why don't you let me teach you the basics? It's a bit hard.
Just
gaslighting her.
You get some very short and sweet County moments, you know. Nanoflaw just, you know, flexing on Mayor Dewey, dancing on the dance floor. And, oh man, JD's so sad. Garnet is already a thing. He's still thirsty for Garnet. That's hilarious.
What a poor cuck.
He was super sad about that. He never got over it.
If Cole's still going off to Earth Girls who basically just look like Rose, then, you know. Yeah. I guess he's not that much of an outlier.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was saying it's just like he's just upset still about it, and it's been like a year or something like that, if not.
It's hard to feel bad for him, to be honest.
Yeah,
I felt worse for man, dude. And also Bismuth caught the flowers. I don't know if that's important.
Yeah, that's those customers are shipping business.
Shall we get into the apparent Infinity War of Steven Universe?
The diamonds awake the cluster.
The diamonds show up, and Steven proceeds to narrate the fight for like the first minute or so. They're here for the cluster? Looks like the cluster's on our side, guys.
Yeah, that was.
Daddy, put me to sleep.
Well, you need to do that because you know that was years ago.
Oh my God! Oh, everything about this is so bad.
What are you talking about?
I can't hold it back, man. I did not like this episode.
This was pretty.
I didn't like the episode at all, dude. I think
you're the first person I've heard say that. Seriously, I've watched maybe 10 Steven Universe videos in the last few days, and everyone is saying either it's the best episode of the show or the best fight of the show.
It can't be.
Okay.
It can't be.
Okay. The reason I like this is it basically. A big complaint of the show is like, oh, they spend so much time talking about feelings and establishing bonds when there's like, you know, this threat oncoming. And basically, the way this fight was very much a literalization of the friendship equals, you know, the friendship and bonds equals power thing. So that's basically saying all the time we spent bonding and becoming comrades, that was what we needed to get through this fight.
Right.
But at the same time, Steven Universe is an action show.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate what all the, it was like,
if the action didn't go down, Elijah,
so but everything. I'm sorry, but Steven Universe for me is not a cliche show, but everything about this episode was screaming cliches and stuff like that. It just, my eyes were rolling, like I was just rolling my eyes.
I don't see how this fight was any weaker than any of the others.
You also knew where the fight was going, though, Elijah. So
I don't know. I didn't know where the fight was going. I mean, maybe I did. But...
Yeah, if you got spoiled, you knew where it was going, so it was all just fighting. Right?
No, I didn't know Lapis was gonna show up, and I was just like...
Yeah, let me get to that. Speaking of directing, the moment where Garnet is walking towards Blue Diamond